here. Today we are going to be doing a Jack and Sally Nightmare Before Christmas wreath. It'll be fun. So let's get started. Okay, so I have this amazing Snowdrift mesh, and I have decided I'm going to do it with this. I had been thinking about doing it with a black and silver, but I decided that I like this better. We're going to have some really interesting ribbons. So I have black and white and red. I have black and white. Of course, these will match Jack. And I have some little red and white. And then I have Sally colors. Isn't that pretty? So I like that. It matches her really well. And then I have one that ties the red and the Sally color in together. So I also have this 10-inch mesh that's perfect Sally colors. Love that. And this is Christmas mesh. And then I have silver. I just love this. So we're going to do all of this together. Here's our little characters. So we're going to have a lot of fun putting this together. Okay, so we'll move them out of the way. And we will get started. Okay, so I have a, let's see what size is this. This is a 16-inch wreath frame. So this will be a little bit larger. I wanted it to be larger because you see how large they are. You really need a pretty decent base to put them in. This is a work wreath. This is the pencil thin ties. And I will tell you, if you don't have the work wreath, what you can do is you can take pipe cleaners and you just put them on, and once you get it on, you just bend it over, and that's where you start your next one. So you're kind of, a good idea is to have around 10 on the bottom, 8 on the top. So that's what, if I make my own, that's what I do. See, now this is a very different frame. It only has 2 levels. So, you know, usually they have that 3rd layer, but this one just has the 2. So there are so many different frames out there. And really, you just use the same process no matter what frame you have. So if I had another, you know, one in here, I'd essentially just skip it. If I had 4, I'd still do it bottom and top. So it really doesn't matter. So don't be intimidated by that. Alright, so isn't this amazing? I love this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bunch it all up at the end like this. And I'm going to pick a place on my frame. And I am going to go right past, so I'm kind of in this tie. And then I'm just going to tie it down with a zip tie. Whoops. Okay. Pull it tight. Okay. There we go. So that's how we'll start it. Alright. Now this is nice thick mesh, especially because it has that little snowdrift in it. But you know, I'm terrible about measuring when it comes to mesh. Doing the poof method, I just don't like to do it. So I just go 1, 2, 3. I want a pretty big, decent poof like that. Okay, then I'll just put that down. I'm going to tie it one good time. I'll be going back in there, so I don't really want to do a whole bunch. I'll just do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Make sure I have a nice big poof. Looks about the same size. And then I'll just tie it down. So if you're struggling with making poof, the poofs like this, what I would say is before you tie them down completely, just make sure that it's pulled out and it looks the way you want before you go on to the next one. Is then you'll be assured that it will look just like you want it when you get done. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm just doing the same thing. Just fluffing it out. Making sure it's what I want it to look like. Yep. And then I'm just going to tie it down. There we go. Isn't this the prettiest mesh? I just love this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'll start going a little bit faster so we don't have to watch all of this. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now you're not looking for perfection when you do these. I mean, having the poofs be slightly different size in my book is okay. As long as it's not hugely, vastly different, it's going to be just fine. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Now I just pull it out. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, one of the reasons that you want to do this before you move on to the next one is if you have a problem, you can always open it up and fix it. All right. Okay, there we go. Get that out of the way. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So we're almost back to the beginning. Okay. Now, when we started, we tied this down right after this tie. And the reason we did that, 1, 2, 3, is so that when we come back, we essentially we just tie this down and it's seamless. So now, it's seamless between those two. Okay? Now I'm going to go up to the top, and you can either do this starting at the top and go down to the bottom, or you can start at the bottom and go up to the top. It's really not going to matter which one you do, but what I'll do is I will take my mesh and I will pull it to the top level. I'm going to take a zip tie, and I want it to be as close to that tie as I can get it. So I just do this because it's not necessary to cut it off and start another layer. This just kind of keeps it nice and clean. You're not going to see that. Alright, so now we do the same thing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Let me pull these out real quick. Pulling them out just means you don't have to stop while you're doing your wreath. There we go. Okay. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. It does tend to want to stick together, so just, it's okay to yank it. It's not going to hurt it. This stuff is a lot tougher than it looks. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. It's a weird little thing. I'm just going to trim that off. Okay. So 1, 2. Whoop. It's sticking together. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There we go. And 1, 2, 3. It likes to get caught at the end here. Okay. So, we're almost back around. Then I'll show you what we're going to do with our other mesh. Okay. There we go. See, isn't that pretty? See how full this is? 1, 2, 3. And I will tell you, if you make one and it's not very full, it is because of the mesh. So don't think it's you. It's the mess. It's the mesh. So it all depends on the quality of the mesh, how thick it is. See, now this is very thick because it has this extra snowball in it, or snowdrift. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are back to that tie. I'm just going to tie this down. Okay. And see, you cannot tell where we went from the bottom to the top. So now what you're going to do is just cut the mesh off. You want to leave some room. And I have quite a bit left, so I'll save this and use it on something else. Okay, and then I'm going to take this little piece here and I'm going to pull it around the back like this. And I'm just going to use a zip tie and tie it to the frame. Okay. And we'll pull that tight. Cut that off. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. Alright, so now we've gotten our base ready. See, and that really is quick and easy. So if you're looking for quick and easy to do these poof ones. They're really fast. And you can just add ribbons and put something in the middle. Then you're done. Okay. So now we're going to add our Sally and Jack flare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some ruffles to add. So we have this gorgeous blue and red that matches Sally. And then we have this silver that kind of matches Jack. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 20-inch ruffles. We have 18 ties that we need to cover. So let me just cut them out. I'm cutting them on my lovely mat here that I just love. This thing is such a lifesaver. Okay. So I'm not going to make you watch me cut all these, but I just wanted to show you a couple. So I'm going to finish cutting these out, and then when I get back, we are going to start putting them on our wreath. Then we've got our, I love these ribbons. We're going to put the ribbons on, then we're going to put our guests of honors on here. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have gotten 18 of these cut. So next what we're going to do is we are going to make these into ruffles. So I'm going to show you several times what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to just lay it flat the way it likes to roll. Then I'm just going to run my fingers up right up the middle, kind of scrunching it together. We're going to make like a bow tie, just like that. Now, I'm just going to hold this in my fingers, but if you have trouble with your hands, use a clip, chip clip, or something along those lines. You can use a bobby pin. You can also use the Bodabra. Okay. And I'm going to do the next one. I'm just going to do the same thing. So lay it flat, and I'm just running my fingers up through the middle. I know it's kind of hard to see with the other one in my hand, but there we go. Just like that. So make a ruffle, a little bow tie with that one too. Now I'm going to put these two together, just like that. Then I'm going to open up my tie. I'm going to put these two down, and I'm going to tie it back one good time. Now I want this silver to be on the bottom, so I'll just make sure it's nice and spaced out on the bottom. I want this red and blue to be on the top. See, like that. Okay, so let's do it again. This time I'll show you how to do the ruffles together. Okay, so just lay it flat the way it likes to roll. Just walk your hands right up the center by holding it at the end like that. All you're doing is scrunching it back to the center like that. Then you can take your next piece, pull it out, keep holding this one, and then do the same thing with that one. Okay. Alright. So now you have two together. Now if your hands hurt, you can do them separately and then put them on. I'm just going to do the same thing. Open up my tie. Okay. Put these two down. Whoop. I lost a little end there. There it is. Okay. And then retie it. There's a string here. It's kind of blocking my path. There we go. Alright. Then I'll just kind of fluff it out. There we go. Just like that. So I am going to do this all the way around the bottom. I'm also going to do this all the way around the top. So I'll show you one on the top. So we'll just do it back to back again. So just walk my fingers right up to the center. Like that. Then takes my next piece and walk this right up through the center. This is how we're going to get some splashes of Sally in here. Okay, so I have these two together. Just going to open up a tie. I'm going to place it down. Tie it back one good time. And then just kind of fluff them up a little. Make sure they're easily seen. There we go. See that? Okay, so I will do the top and the bottom and not make you watch that. But I do want to show you what I'm going to do next. So I can do that and then come back and we can start putting this together. So I am going to cut my ribbons here, and I'm going to cut them at 12 inches. If you like your ribbons to be longer, you can cut them at 14 inches. So I made myself a little tool. If you've watched my videos, you've seen this before. It's just a piece of cardboard. I cut it 6 inches. I have one at 7 and I have one at 8 in case I want to do longer ribbons. I just take my ribbon and I just go around my little form here like this. I have one side notched so I know what's the top. I just cut it off, run my scissors through, and cut it off. And just that quickly, I cut, what, 5. Then I just fold it over, cut it an angle away from me, just like that. So I will go through and cut these ribbons. So I'm going to need one in each one, so I'll need 36 ribbons. So I will be back shortly. Okay, so I have gotten all of the ruffles on. Isn't that pretty? I like this. So now we're going to put our ribbons on, and I think this is going to make a perfect base for the King and Sally. So I just wanted to show you real quick. You see how these colors just match her perfectly? So it's really easy to do one that matches Jack, but I think that it's more fun to do one that matches Sally. So now that we've got our base together, we can put on our ribbons. So all I'm going to do, now when I do ribbons like this and I cut all my ribbons up, I just take a few seconds and I will put 2 ribbons together and I'll stack them on top of each other so I don't have to think about it. I just grab it from the pile and go. So I will find the middle, pinch it, come in here, open my tie back up, put my ribbon down, and this time I'm going to tie it 3 times. And not only that, but I'm going to twist this tie in on itself. You see how that looks right there? So that's what I normally do with my ties. And then I will take my ribbons and I will pull them apart, just like this. There we go. We're going to get some splashes of black in here for Jack. So I'll just go on to my next set, find the middle, pinch, open my tie up, put it down, tie it 3 good times, and then twist down my tie. So there we go. Then I'll spread these out. Okay. I'll show you another one, and then I'll go off camera and put the rest on. So just find the middle, and I will do top and bottom. I just wanted to do top because it's a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing. So open my tie up, put my ribbon down, and then fold my little liner down. There we go. And then space out my ribbon. So this is how we're going to get the splashes of the black in here. And I have more of the black and white than I have of this pretty blue and red because I have a ton of that in all the ruffles so I need to pull out more of the Jack colors than I do the Sally colors. Alright, so I will put this one down, open up my tie, put it down, tie it off 3 times, twist this down on itself, and then I will go off camera and put the rest of the ribbons down. I'm just going to spread them out, then fluff them up. Alright, so I will finish putting these in, and then when I come back, we're going to put Jack and Sally in the center. So they will be our nice little focal point. Look at this wreath. Isn't this pretty? It's so nice and full. So even if you didn't really want to do Jack and Sally, this is a great way to do any Christmas wreath. So you could do red and white and do this. You can do another color and do poof, and then pull in the colors that you like with 2 different types of ruffles. This is one of my favorite, I guess you would call, wreath recipes. So I like to do something like this. It just makes it so nice and full. Okay, so I will be back shortly. Okay, I've gotten all the ribbons in. It is definitely different, but that's okay, I like it. Okay, so now it's time to put our people, Jack and Sally, in the wreath. So what I want to do is figure out where I'm going to put them. Okay. So I want to put her just slightly below him. Let's see. So once I figure out how I'm going to put them, what I'm going to do for Jack, I can actually zip tie him because I have some black zip ties. So let's get him done first. Okay. So back here, what I will do, is I'm actually going to poke a little hole in his little outfit here. I don't want to make a big hole. Just enough to get a zip tie through. Right there. Okay. Okay, so once I get a zip tie through him, I'm actually going to run this zip tie right through some of my mesh. And I'm going to tie it on, tie him on right to the mesh. Okay. Then I'll just clip this off. Okay. So I've got the top part of him tied in. Now, I want to tie in his legs. His legs will be a little bit easier because the legs are closer to the base and I can run something right down to the base. So, I'll do the same thing. I'll make a small hole. This is just an ice pick that I'm using, but you could use a needle or whatever is convenient for you. Okay. I'll put his leg, and I'm gonna run it right to my base. Okay. Now I'm going to take the other leg and I'm going to cross it over so you can't tell he's tied in. See, now he's tied in. He's tied in pretty well. He's not going to come loose. So, and cut this off. There we go. Okay, so we got Jack in. Now, if you're worried, you can also tie his head down. Same procedure. Just poke a little hole back here. And you don't want to do a big hole because you don't want to cause it to start fraying. So, just run this through his head, like this. Okay, and I will do the same thing. I will tie it right through my mesh. Okay, cut that off. There. Now we've got him situated. Now let's work on Sally. So I want to make sure her hair is good. I want her to be a little bit lower than him. He is the king. It's very important. I want her to have her hands in her lap. Okay. Now I'm going to put his arm right around her. Like this. Okay. Now we can do her. So I'm going to use her hair to tie her in. I'll just poke a tiny little hole in here. Okay. Then I'll run a little zip tie through here. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to tie her to the mesh as well. There we go. So there we go. Alright, so now I need, so both of their heads are tied in. Her hair is good. His arm is good. So I just want to tie in her legs. Kind of move them in there. And then we should be good to go. Alright. And you can just kind of futz around and get them the way you want them. So I'm going to put one more hole, and I'm just going to put a hole right through her dress. So that way I don't have to I don't want anything to be seen. So I just poked a little hole in her dress. Oops. Just run the pipe cleaner through there. Okay, and I'm going to tie it to the mesh underneath her. Okay. Zip tie that in. Okay. There we go. Look at that. I think they look so cute. So then you can arrange them however you want. I also have a couple of the little characters, and what I will do is So I'm going to use this one just because I think it stands out a little bit more, but I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to poke a little hole in here. Not a big one, just a small one. Okay. And grab a zip tie. Stick it through. Now I want to figure out where I want to put it. Maybe like right down here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run it. Just poke it right into the mesh, like here. Okay. Then I'll just tie it on. Okay, there's one. Got him in. Now let's do this little guy. Let's put him down here. Okay. So let's see. About right here. It's really handy to have something like this around to make, you know, little punctures and things. You don't have to make a big one. Just a little. See, and I'll run it right through the mesh. Tie it on. Now, of course, you can use hot glue. There's no reason you can't. I just chose to use the zip ties. But I think that is so adorable. Let me pull this up. And there he is with Sally. I think they're so adorable. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do is we are going to make a little flower, a little rose for Sally to have. So I'm going to use this. I just think that's so pretty. So I'm going to measure out, a yard. Okay, so 36 inches. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this little end and I'm going to put a rubber band around it. We're going to use it in the end, but I don't want anything to happen to this end until I get this other part done. Okay. So, just wrap our little rubber band around there. Alright, now, so what you're going to do, and you can do this with any ribbon that has wire in it. So you want to find, we're going to use the bottom. See, this one's sticking out a little bit, this wire. You just pull the wire and start scrunching up the ribbon. Just keep going down and pulling it. So you want to get that closer to the end. So just keep pulling and pushing that down. So, and the reason that we put the rubber band in the end is so that it won't come out completely. We want to be able to still have some wire. Okay. So just keep pushing it down. Holding on to that wire. Pushing it down. Until you get it to the end. Until you can't possibly pull any more out. So you gotta really get it in there. So let's see. That's good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this end that we put the rubber band on and we're going to start rolling it up. So just hold it like this and just start twisting. So just twist around just like this. You see how that's starting to form a little rose? So just keep twisting. Make sure you hold that tight. You don't want that little bunching to come out. So just keep twirling it around. So twist it around just like that. Okay. All right. So we still have our little rubber band down here. Okay. So once you get it all tightened, make sure everything's in place. Now pull that little piece through with your rubber band in it. I'm just going to pull that down and hold on to it while I finish making this little rose. Okay. So once I get that, then I'm going to take this wire that I have left over and I'm going to twist it around the bottom. And we'll fluff this ribbon up. You see how it makes a little rose? You just kind of pull the little pieces out like that. There we go. So twist and twist and twist. And then you can take the little rubber band off. There we go. So see, we have this little piece at the bottom that I'm holding. You just want to kind of fluff it up a little. And then I can put it right here in her hand. I'm actually going to twist it, or the wire, around both of her hands. Like this. And then move the rose around. There we go. And she's holding a little flower. There we go. Alright. Just a little something different. I love making these. You can just kind of shape your little flower. Okay, so you won't be able to see that there's wire around her. This wire is very thin. Just clip it off and tie it back around the rose. All right. So there we go. So you'll have to let me know what you think. I thought this was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. I think I'm going to be working on a Christmas tree next. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.